What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and so real quick, making a video today. I didn't make one yesterday or anything because I figured I'd give y'all a little break from me and from my wondrous ability to just talk and talk and talk. So I gave you a little break yesterday, even though there was some news I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the practice squad. It has been filled. But there was also a roster move today that I wanted to talk about as well. So real quick, let me get to the practice squad. We have 11 players on the practice squad as opposed to 10 because Durval Quiros Neto is on the practice squad, and because he is a foreign exchange player or whatever, the program that he came over from Brazil, in the program he used to come to the NFL, for whatever the specific reason, in the rules are stated that he gets to be on the practice squad as an additional player and does not count towards the 10. So we have 11 guys, so that is kind of unique, and you don't see that very often, so cool, I guess. Let's see. So the practice squad consists of wide receiver Isaiah Ford, linebacker Terrell Hanks, safety Montre Hardage, defensive end Dwayne Hendricks, tight end Chris Myarick, cornerback Nick Needham, defensive tackle and guard, because apparently he plays defensive tackle or guard. Yes, those are on offensive and defensive lines, so offense and defense. Durval Quiros Neto, Durval Quiros Neto. Jake Ruddock, quarterback. Linebacker Christian Sam, tackle Zach Stirrup, and defensive tackle Gerald Willis. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of those guys, Isaiah Ford, Dwayne Hendricks, Chris Myarick, Nick Needham, Jake Ruddock, all those guys did perform well for us and are all guys you would expect to, see on the practice squad if, they made it through waivers, and obviously they did. Okay, and so the roster move that was done today is the Dolphins officially announced that they've signed offensive tackle Jamarcus Webb and placed linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel on injured reserve, apparently. So Andrew Van Ginkel was was a draft pick of ours, late round this year. Apparently he's hurt. He's going on IR. He could potentially be eligible to come off mid-season, but we won't see him for a while. And so now we have Jamarcus Webb, who had, talks with the Dolphins. They had brought him in, tried him out and stuff like that, but hadn't signed him up to this point. So now they have. The good, it's another offensive lineman to help with the non-existent offensive line that we have. The not so good, obviously it's a couple days before, our first game. So odds are he's going to be useless. Even if he did play, which is possible, which is definitely possible, but if he did play, he's certainly not going to have really much time to get the schemes down and stuff like that. So, we'll see if he plays. So real quick though, I've given you those bits of news, but that's actually a good segue though, talking about the offensive line into some other things, some comments and stuff from Brian Flores, right? Just further context for this whole situation, right? So he says that we're not tanking and that it would be disrespectful to the game, which I think you saying that and then your actions speaking otherwise is really the disrespectful part. You're just lying to everybody, and just fucking say it, dude. Just fucking say it. You can say, hey, look, we're going to try to win every game, but, obviously we're not, because it just couldn't be more obvious. It just couldn't be more obvious. Nobody ever wants to say it, but his actions speak louder than the words. So if you're gonna take the actions, just fucking say it. We're tanking. Just fucking say it. But he won't. But there's more evidence. So first of all, not only do we not really have an offensive line, Brian Flores actually said, I believe yesterday or maybe the day before, that you know, we kind of, and I'm paraphrasing here, you know, we kind of have a starting 5 guys, but you know, we might end up using more than 5. Wait, what? So in other words, you might actually like rotate guys, move guys around as the game's going? Bruh, this isn't training camp. It's not preseason anymore. You're supposed to have a starting lineup of guys so they can get chemistry and cohesion together, learn how to play together, and then maybe they can actually form some solid like production up there, you know, up front in the trenches. But that's not gonna happen if you're like moving guys around, subbing guys out and stuff like that. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that though? At a position, like, it's one thing to do that at like defensive tackle, right? It's good to or defensive end, stuff like that, right? On the defensive line, it's good to have a rotation. Why? Because those guys don't really rely so much on like unit cohesion, and they're just pushing so hard every play, you know, that they get winded, you know, with their pass rushes and stuff like that, right? Trying to break through that line and everything. So like they get winded, they get worn down. On the offensive line, it's super important to have them play together, you know, your starting 5, so that way they can gel, right? Like, because think, right, the defensive line isn't necessarily supposed to move as one unit, right? Those guys, the edge rushers, they'll break off. Sometimes they'll do stunts and come around and then come back into the middle, right? Like, do all kinds of weird shit. They break from each other. The offensive line is generally supposed to stay together and move in unison. Now, obviously, sometimes they'll pull guards and stuff like that, but even still, they're still moving in unison even when they do that, right? So, you know, it's super important. So, but why would you do that? Why would you do that? Well, because you don't really care about winning. Because at the very least, even if you give him like the benefit of the doubt and you know, give him the most fair thing, like you could say the most fair reasoning would be, or the most like understandable, reasonable thing, whatever, would be is you know, he's trying to figure out for next year who's gonna be around, and you know, who you know, in the fire can you know, rise to the occasion, and who's going to show you some things that lead you to believe they should be around next year. But that's a best case scenario, right? The worst case scenario is that you're just flat out trying to lose, and so you're weakening your offensive line so that way you can almost ensure that you get the number 1 pick this upcoming draft. Okay? But in either event, you're fucking tanking and you ain't fucking doing shit. So stop fucking lying to us, right? Also, not only that, but he was making comments. Now, he could, you know, totally be trying to smoke screen and shit with these comments. Sure, whatever. Although I have a feeling it's not the case. But he had made comments about how Kenyon Drake is going to get a lot of touches in this upcoming game. Well, why would you just tell that to people? Why would you give your game plan away? Right? Again, maybe it's a smoke screen, but I'm betting not. I'm betting they're going to give Kenyon Drake a lot of touches, and I mean, the Ravens defense is going to know it. I mean, look, all they got to do is see, right? When the game comes around, do they put Kenyon Drake on the field? And does it appear as if he's going to get touches, right? And then does he? It won't take long to figure out if he starts getting a bunch of touches. And then you know their game plan. I mean, we know that, but it seems feasible and logical, though, because our pass game is not really going to be shit because the quarterbacks are not going to have any time to fucking throw. So we're going to have to try and rely on our run game, but they're going to stuff the fuck out of that, which is going to force us to be one-dimensional and go to the pass game. It's going to be a disaster. Anyway, so I am going to save the, the game preview analysis and stuff for Saturday. I usually do my, my pre-game or my preview, the day before. So I will be making that video Saturday, so I'm not going to get into that. But so much right now. But, I mean, like, why would you telegraph and just let people know what you're doing? Like, why? Like, at least put some fucking mystery on it, right? Like, be like, who knows? We'll see, I'm sure and say things like, oh yeah, I'm sure Kenny's Kenyon's gonna be out there, but we'll be using Balaj as well. We'll probably see a little bit of Chandler, right? Like, don't just be flat out and be like, yeah, Kenyon's gonna get a bunch of touches. You're gonna get the dude murdered. Like, this is, and not literally, of course, but he's just gonna get fucking hammered. Because they're going to key in on that. And they're just going to fucking, every time he gets the ball, they're just going to fucking destroy him. Especially because the offensive line is not going to be existent. And, like, it's already at the level of turnstile. But then you want to add a rotation into the offensive line? Jeez, dude. I mean, this couldn't be any more disastrous. But we'll see it play out on Sunday. So, yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to give you those updates. I wanted to let you know the status of the practice squad and who's on it and all that good stuff. Obviously, game time's coming, guys. It doesn't look like, real quick too, it doesn't look like there are going to be any effects from Dorian. It's in the Carolinas now. It destroyed the Bahamas, but it's in the Carolinas now as a Category 1. So it looks like Florida did get some damage and stuff, of course, but it doesn't seem as if, severe enough to affect football. So, I expect that the game should be going on as planned, as scheduled on Sunday. And so, we'll see, man. It's fucking mind-boggling. But this is the first opportunity that Brian Flores is going to have to prove that his team is not, tanking, right? And, like, I mean, good for you. Just another quick side note. Sorry, before I get out, I'm trying to do my sign off and get up out of here. But just another quick note. Christian Wilkins had said, I quote, I ain't rolling over for nobody, right? Good. Well, look, man, I'm glad that you've got that drive and that spirit, but you did just get here. Right? I know there's been a lot of turmoil and chaos and craziness already since he's been here, but he just got here. He was the first overall pick of this franchise this year. So, it would be fair and reasonable to think that he's in a bit of a honeymoon phase with the team right now. And because of that, like, he doesn't look at them probably, he probably looks at this like, man, and gives them a break. All of the things that they've been doing, and he gives them a break. Well, it's just business, blah, blah, blah. And so he can go back to being himself and be like, yeah, but I'm telling you, man, this team is going to get demoralized once we start getting our asses handed to us. Plus, I guarantee there are a bunch of guys that are not going to be as, that allows him to be a little bit more bought in, or at least, stick to his own guns and be like, yeah, I'm going to give it every fucking play. Right? But this team's going to get fucking super demoralized after we get our fucking asses handed to us in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, right? And then we're going to go into our fucking bye 0-4. I know I'm making fucking declarative statements as if I'm making a prediction. I think it's highly likely we go 0-4 to start the season, honestly, because those first few games, it's the Ravens, then the Patriots, then the fucking Cowboys, and then the Chargers. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, like I said, I want to try and take it one game at a time, though. Yeah, so look, my point though there is you can try, and it's good that you got that attitude. The kid's got that attitude, and you can try. He can try as much as he wants, but I mean, this team is going to be just absolutely atrocious. And I mean, like, that's part of why the things that Brian Flores is saying is pissing me off so much, because it couldn't be more obvious that they are literally trying like as hard as they can to be as bad as possible. But why? Why would you do that? Because you're tanking. So just fucking say it, dude. Stop being a bitch. I mean, you've already proven to be a bitch. But, you know, I mean, you could save face at least a little bit and just come out and fucking say it. But he won't. He's going to stick to his fucking talking points and the same bullshit. And he's going to... And look, you know, part of it is because he's trying to, you know, he's trying to be consistent and prove to these guys that, you know, we're fighters and it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And we're always going to go out there and give our everything, because he wants to try and hold on to the locker room. Dude, you're failing miserably. You're failing fucking miserably. You've already got a lot of... Look, I'm probably one of the fucking, you know, most leeway giving motherfuckers ever, right? Like, again, I would give him the full 5 years, even just based off of a football perspective. I vehemently disagree with the vast majority of the things that he's doing and think that it's going to end up... I believe that he is breeding a toxic culture, and I believe that it's going to backfire immensely. It's going to lead into just a disastrous year after disastrous year until he finally gets fired, which I believe will end up being before his guaranteed 5 years, because we're going to have such terrible seasons for the next 3 years. And... you know, whatever. And then I also think he's proving to be a not very good person either, with the way that he, you know, handled all the, you know, the Kenny Still stuff. I mean, people are just brushing over that. I am not going to let that go, because it's fundamentally both corrupt and just flat out wrong and fucked up, right? So, anyway... there I go again, you know, on my tangents. But see, that's what happens, especially when I don't make videos. I got things that I'm thinking about, and then, you know, I want to talk about them. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I am going to go ahead and jump out of here before I continue on with my rants and think of other things that I want to say. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my videos. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts for the videos. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.